Hey, check. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Mic check. Hey, this is Caynug. Today I wanted to talk about my song I Wish I Still Knew You. I want to delve a little bit into what's behind the emotion in that song. One of my most emotional songs out there. I'm not gonna talk about gear today because that's for another video. And even if you didn't hear the song yet, you might quite possibly relate to what I feel and what I felt doing that song. Let's get started with the whole story. This is really not easy for me to talk about. It's quite the emotional topic, the whole song. It's about loved ones who over time change into someone who hurt themselves by their toxic habits, for example. And you see that and you want to help, but it's like there's a wall between you and the person you love, and it gets thicker and thicker. You have empathy and love, so you want to help, of course. But what you do doesn't get through because of that wall that gets thicker and thicker each and every time you try between your loved one and you. At some point you get so frustrated, not only because your help is hitting a wall, but also because you start to realize you can only stand and stare at the whole situation. It feels like your hands are tied even if you know what that person needs. It doesn't get through. Simply doesn't get through. You don't get through to that person you love. And that's something that just doesn't happen in a day. The whole situation just doesn't happen in a day. It starts with small changes that make you go, oh, what's happening here? It's quite unusual, whatever happens there. And weeks or months go by and you can only watch. And you watch it get worse and worse every time, over time. Of course you give it time, because in that particular situation you can only sit and stare. Your hands are tied, passively voicing that you're there for your loved one. Over time your gut feeling gets strong and louder. Something's really wrong. Your gut feeling is trying to tell you something there. You really sense there's something wrong going on. And you keep getting frustrated because you see that slow toxic decline slowly happening, and it's getting worse and worse. It's so clear in front of you. You distance yourself from that loved one because it's so frustrating and it starts hurting you more and more as well. You're trying to save yourself from those feelings, really. The change for the better might not come. And that's where I see your face fading away comes from in the song. So what you're gonna do to save yourself from being hurt all the time? Because at some point you start to think of yourself as well. You start to accept that it's like it is. And yet it feels like you let your loved one drop to the floor like a piece of glass and still watch it shatter helplessly. It feels like giving up. You're frustrated, desperate. You want to scream, and yet I still try, and you don't even know why. And yet I still cry, and you don't even know why. Why? 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 You accept it, quite possibly repress it in the end. And you try to move on. Try. It doesn't stop there, as with many past conflicts and situations that can happen in your life. You start to reflect and review it sometime after it happened. I split that and how it affects me into two pieces. The first sad part is the loved one himself, some kind of selflessness, caring and empathy for that loved one. And how I wish that loved one would simply feel better, be more happy, and and feel the joy he or she felt before in his life, in her life. I just wish that loved one, you wish that loved one would feel the same joy as before, really. Yeah. The other sad part is you, yourself, your ego, your healthy ego, and what happened there to you over a long period of time through that whole situation. These feelings, they are there, they change you. And those feelings, they are there, they are inside you. And if you really reflect about it and take your time, more often than not, you realize it will never be fully gone. That experience is part of you now. And it's really not a good experience at all. And at the same time, you couldn't really save yourself from feeling that and from experiencing that. One more scar. I'm not here to judge anyone. I just want you to take care of yourself. And by taking care of yourself, you take care of the people around you that love you. And please let them love you. Getting mentally in a worsening state can happen to all of us. Others change, but so do you. Point at yourself, no matter how strong and confident you might feel right now. Stay aware of who you are or want to be and what you do daily. For example, toxic behavior can become a habit if you do it daily. Like everything else, if you do it daily, being blind and deaf to everything around you, because you possibly want to save yourself from disappointments, that too can become a habit. Not trying because you are scared, and scared is the big word here, of disappointments can become a habit. So please take care of what you do and think daily. Because first you make these habits, and then these habits make you. All that is not easy for me to talk about, and I really appreciate it that you take your time, listen to me, and that you like it. You guys wrote so many amazing things to me. This is why this video has been made. I can't really put it into words. This makes me feel something. This makes me think that what I'm doing is the right thing, and it feels so right to do. All I could think of is the whole day is getting home and doing more, just talking, and it just feels right, and I want to do this, and I hope I can give you something with all that. For me, one of the biggest things is to inspire, and you guys did let me know that I inspire you in some way, and for me it's so hard to understand, because it feels like you changed the world in some way. You don't really see it, but inspiring someone, for me personally, if I think about it, it's like changing the world in some way. And it really gets me thinking, and with how well it was received and all the kind messages you wrote to me, it really made me emotional. I didn't think this would happen at all, so I'm just gonna continue doing this. It feels right, and I hope you like listening. And if not, it's okay as well. This feels right for now. I wanted to give a little special thanks to Frank Tollison. He bought one of the acrylic on canvas pictures today and left me a very kind message and made me feel really great. He's been around for 5 years and that's crazy for me. He basically watched me grow up, and not only grow as an artist but as a person as well, from whatever I gave out there of myself. He bought one of these, one of those acrylic on canvas pics. You can hang them on your wall if you want. I got 4 ones. I got 4 of them. He bought one of those. I'm gonna send it his way as soon as possible. Thank you. I try to give out some special thanks at the end of all of these videos, because there were so many people that helped me, not only emotionally but took so much work from my shoulders. The first one that gets into my mind is Eric Kirchner, and I want to give him a little bigger section than just mentioning him like that, because what he did for me is crazy. It's absolutely amazing, and I'll kinda make sure I send every one of you his way, and if you need album art, get his stuff. But that's for another time, and I'm gonna give a proper shout out to him. And he made that album cover, and he made the fucking everything on the CD, the whole design. Love that guy, Eric. Eric Burton Kirchner. Fucking love you, dude. You're the sickest artist I ever